Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, this morning, January 30th, 2018, we're looking at Early Times. You've heard of Early Times, Kentucky whiskey. You see it's running out. Introduced in 1860, one of the old whiskey brands of America. 80 proof, aged 3 years in used bourbon barrels, which disqualifies it legally to be a bourbon. So it's a bourbon in every sense of the word except for that one qualification, or I should say disqualification. Versus Redemption High Rye. Got a lot of this left. Introduced in 2010. This is aged only 1 single year in a new barrel. So even though it's only aged 1 single year in, or at least a year, so maybe it's a year and a day, in a new charred oak barrel, it does qualify as bourbon, not straight bourbon, just simply bourbon. Okay. At one time it was sold as straight bourbon, but they must have got in trouble with the Tax and Trade Bureau and they changed it to bourbon. So it is a bourbon. It uses only whiskey, no grain neutral spirits, the unaged corn distillate. It uses a high rye mash bill, but it's not straight bourbon. Okay, so it gets a little complicated, doesn't it? Now, 60% corn, and bourbon has to be 51%, so this is way above it. 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% barley. Okay, 92 proof, 46% alcohol. This one here is 40, so 46 versus 40. Okay. Oh, I don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge because I don't think Early Times is going to have as rich enough flavor to challenge it, really. Early Times sells around here. You can get this bottle. They're both 750 milliliters, 750s, or a fifth. You can get this bottle for $8.99 at Winn-Dixie. Usually, I think Walmart only sells the big bottles, which are even a bigger value, even a bigger value. And it's a Brown-Forman brand, you know, the makers of Jack Daniels. So it's sort of like a younger Jack Daniels aged in used barrels. Okay. This one here is about $23 minimum around here. $23 to $27, 23, 25, 20. Yeah. Let's say $23 to $26 a bottle. That's probably about what it is here. I guess it does okay. It only showed up the last month. Just started showing up. Tanya Makowski said, let's do an examination of Redemption. I said, look, we can't get that in Louisiana. Literally like 5 days later, it showed up. I said, Tanya, guess what? It's here. So we did an examination. All right. Well, you notice maybe that the Early Times is a slight bit lighter, and I mean slightly. It's not by much. This is a little darker. Now, how does this get all this color in just a year in the barrel? I don't know, but it does because they don't add color into it. Bourbon can't have color and add it, even if it's disclosed. I see a little bit of sediment there, though, honestly. I don't know what that is. This glass is very clean. I actually noticed a little sediment there. I guess there's only so much filtering you can do, and then it's impossible to get absolute total clarity, right? What's my experience with early times? Well, I mean, I've had it. It seems good. It's not extraordinary or some kind of fantastic, just incredible product. But why would you think it would be at $8.99? But it's nice. It's like nice. Okay. The Redemption High Rye. Well, it's fine. I wouldn't really pay $23. Only reason I bought it is because Tanya Makowski wanted to examine it. Otherwise, I never would have bought it. I just wouldn't. I just know I would not have bought it. Well, not anytime soon. But I said, no, all right. She's always nice to me, and it's pleasant to do hangouts with her. So I'll do it. I told her, for you, I'll do it. I think next, possibly Thursday, we'll try to do Redemption High Rye against Very Old Barton. That's one of the more dull bourbons I've tried. Now, when I had it at the distillery, it seemed better. But, you know, it was the summer. It was really hot. I don't know. It just seemed better. But then we tried the Barton 1792. Well, that was much better. But what do you expect? It's much more expensive. And then we had the bourbon cream, the Sazerac bourbon cream, which was lovely. And the tour was free, I might add. You can tour the Jack Daniel's distillery, but it costs you $17. I don't think you can tour the MGP distillery in Indiana, Midwest Grain Products. You can tour it if you're a customer. In other words, if you watch their video, if you're a liquor company and you want to make a contract with them to produce their brands, yeah, they'll take you on a personal tour. But on just somebody like me or you walking up saying, I'd like to look around, I don't think they're going to, take a tour. I don't think they're going to do that. But they might. I don't know. They have a lot of videos about the tour. It's very interesting. Okay. I put some videos about the Barton tour. If you look on my YouTube page, there's about 5 short little videos in the barrel room, barrel house, watching the grain unload from the truck, the corn, looking at the clear distillate, everything, so it's interesting. The girl letting us taste it, I recorded that. And then I did a video series, very short. They're only like a minute long, so it's not like I'm tie you down. I did that of the Buffalo Trace. Okay. This one over here smells much spicier in the nose. Mr. Tank says hi. Hi, Mr. T, Mr. Tank. This one smells more sugary in the nose. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of rye, but I'm thinking that early times would be like maybe 1% rye, right? So this has got to be early times, and this has got to be Redemption. Now I'm calling it without tasting it. I did that the last 3 times, or 4 times. I got it right on aroma alone within 10 seconds. So these training sessions are helping me. Now you say, well, how does that help the world that you learn how to distinguish whiskey's brands by aroma? Well, I don't know how it helps the world. Gives entertainment, clean family fun. I don't know about family. Oh, okay, let's say adult, over 21, I should say. Family in the sense that we try to have appropriate content in all our videos here. There's enough bad, sacrilegious, scurrilous, salacious stuff on the internet. So we don't need more filth, so why don't we just have more nice? Okay, this has got to be Redemption. It's got to be early times. If I'm wrong, I'm going to feel embarrassed. Let's go. And anyway, tasting whiskey or tasting beer or reviewing beer, that's not really inappropriate. I mean, if you're under 21, you're not old enough to drink it. Or let me rephrase that, to buy it. In Louisiana, you can drink it if you're with your parents, if you're 18. In fact, you can even drink it at a restaurant or a bar with your parents if you're 18. So Louisiana has a lot of loopholes that were put into the law to get around the law. Louisiana never wanted to change the drinking age to 21, but the Empire forced Louisiana to do that in 1987. And they put a different law. They put the law where it was illegal to buy it if you were 18, but there was no stipulation that it was illegal to sell it. But then about 15 years ago, they caught that, and Louisiana was forced again by the Empire to change it to illegal to buy or sell it. So that's when they started going after the retailers, doing those entrapments where they send in an underage, I guess you call it a trap, try to purchase the liquor and confuse the retailer. And then here comes the tobacco, firearms, and liquor enforcement. I got you. I got you. Now, in some cases, there are known stores that sell to underage. They're known to do that. So yeah, they need to be disciplined, but these setups we don't support. We in the libertarian old right movement, right? We don't support entrapment. But getting off of politics, very spicy, very peppery, sweet, flowery, fruity, like the dried fruit cake fruit. Gotta be redemption, gotta be. Risk indicated, staunch risk indicated. I heard that we relented to raise the age to get highway funding for some federal program. Yes, that's right. If you don't change your drinking age to 21, you can't get the highway money. And that goes back to the argument from the early 1800s of the federal government should not be funding highways because they're going to, and if you read the arguments against US government funding of interstate highways, they said that it's a trap. They're going to fund it, and then they're going to use the money as blackmail against in each state to try to make them comply with their dictatorial rulings. And then the nationalists, because there were two parties back then, the Democratic Republicans and the National Republicans. The nationalists, the Alexander Hamilton people said, oh, you're just paranoid right-wing, conspiracy theorists. No one's going to do that. But of course, that's exactly what they did. Everything the anti-federalists ever predicted happened, by the way. Okay. To a T. And that was the Reagan, the conservative, so-called conservative Ronald Reagan administration that blackmailed Louisiana. Of course, we know that the Reagan administration was not conservative. They were conservative liberals, but they were not conservative. They were just conservative-oriented New Deal, FDR New Deal. That's what they were. Okay, but we gave up all those tourism dollars from 18-year-olds in favor of that federal program. Right, I wouldn't have done it. But then you see, but they're insidious. You see, they take your money. They don't ask for it. They take it, and then they tell you what you can do with it when they give it back to you. But they play rough. They'll start saying, oh, well, not just highway. You can't get any education money, no food stamps. I mean, believe me, these are gangsters. Gangsters don't play nice, okay? And then if the state tried to counteract by compounding, impounding all the federal money going to the U.S. government, then you get invaded. So that's how empires work. They don't play nice. I mean, they'll soft pedal things at first, but when you get down to the bottom rung of the ladder, they will come kill you. You know, it's not a pretty picture, you see. But I'm not here to talk about empires, you know. The number of potential touring 18-year-olds is uncapped. Right. I mean, that would be, Louisiana would be the tourism capital of the world, of America, probably the car wreck capital of America too. But anyway, before Mexico had all this terrible violence, why do you think all the counties of Texas next to the Mexican border had, every Friday night had like an incredible number of 18-year-old tourists going to Mexico and then crawling back across the bridge at 3 in the morning? Same thing with Canada. You've got a lot of American 18-year-old tourists going to Canada every Friday and Saturday night. I guess they like to go, they may have some late night museums to go visit, or the waterfront and take photos. I don't know why they go there. Oh, maybe it's because Quebec has 18-year-old drinking age. I don't know. Huh. All right. This has got to be redemption. It's too spicy, and this has got to be early times. Well, you know, it was no kind of contest, but if you can get it right, it shows you're learning, right? You're learning. So let's check it out. Oh, man, did I get it mixed up? $19 for Canada. I'm not sure. I've been to Canada many times, but it wasn't to drink, and I was way over 25 anyway, so it didn't matter. Let's change the subject. I would rather talk about empires. In fact, now that this has just happened, oh my gosh, golly gee. Pride cometh before a fall. Okay, Well, how about that? This is early times, and that's redemption. Now, you say, oh, here he goes, providing cover again. No, I'm not providing cover. I have no reason to lie. I mean, I was thinking, and I almost mentioned this, but I said, nah, it won't matter. There's no reason to mention it because it's not going to happen. I was going to say I was a little worried about the 3-year age versus 1 year. Meaning that even though the redemption is high rye and the early times is not, the 3-year aging could counteract, or let's say balance out the ingredients, because you got it in the barrel 3 years, so you're going to have a richer aging, I mean, you know, flavor because of the aging. So I was a little concerned, but I blew it off like, nah. But I was wrong, and I should not have, because I got them mixed up. Well, it's a tie in taste. Honestly, I can't say one's better than the other. And secondly, there's a bigger point to this. You say, well, the point is you don't know which is which. Yeah, I can't argue with that because I got them mixed up, didn't I? Huh. Never dreamed early times had so much character. Well, let's think about that for a minute. $8.99. Listen to that price. $8.99. How about that? $22.99. Now, do you really want to pay $22.99 so you can get a fancier bottle with a cork? But in a blind taste test, you can't tell them apart and you get them mixed up? I don't think so. Now, you might say, yeah, but with these kind of things, you got to have, it can't just be valid. It's got to be reliable. So this was a valid taste challenge because it was valid. It tested what it was supposed to test. But if it was going to be, the only way we could establish reliability would be to do one one of these with these two brands for like 5 straight challenges, 5 straight times. But I'm not going to do that because I don't feel like it. And secondly, this is not supposed to be scientific, right? This is not a scientific exercise, okay? I'm not trying to do this for the world of science. I'm doing it for the world of my personal entertainment. I'm letting you watch, and some people enjoy watching it. But naturally, you want to try to factor out as many variables as possible. And a very important variable is looking at the label and being influenced by that. And that's how the blind taste test can remove that variable. So you're not unduly influenced by the brand and the label and your preconceived notions. So it's very important. Well, I have to say this. Redemption Rye has been getting beat up in these taste challenges. It won. Yeah, it won once. Barely won. It got mixed today with, of all things, Early Times, which most people do not regard Early Times as a high level whiskey. After all, it is on the bottom shelf. It's going on 3 times the amount, not twice as expensive. It's twice as expensive plus a half. Do you really want to pay 2.5 times more for a whiskey that is almost indistinguishable from one that's at the bottom shelf? I would not. You might, because you might want a pretty bottle, but I would never dream of doing it. So, and I know people are going to say, oh, here he goes. He's trying to be a champion for the cheap stuff again. That's what he lives to do. Greenleaf accuses me of that. You're a champion, Greenleaf 33. You're a champion for the cheap stuff. That's your whole purpose. Basically, he's saying the whole purpose of my channel is to champion cheap stuff. That isn't true. Like he got irritated because I said that Dogfish had Namaste was just kind of so-so, you know, it was all right. Wasn't any better than Blue Moon if it was as good. And then I was saying some things about the sugary IPAs, you know, IPAs that taste like fruit juice and sugar. Now, he said, all you ever do is beat up on that. You just beat it up. You beat it up. And that's the wave of the future. Everybody's rating those high and they love it. I'm not beating it up, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't love it. If a lot of people like sugar and a lot of people like fruit, okay, I understand that, and that's wonderful, and I hope they do very well, and I hope they sell just unlimited amounts of it, and I wish them all the best. I really do. I'm saying that doesn't taste like an India Pale Ale to me, okay? Because in my experience, they were not cloudy, milky things that look like cake mix in a beer, and it didn't taste like fruit juice and sugar. Now that was my experience. My experience with India Pale Ales was that they were pale, right? Pale ale, and they were bitter because of, well, what's the hops, hop bitterness, and they were resiny and oily and piney. Now then all of a sudden that changed, and it was sugary fruit juice. Now, that is not me having some kind of great spiritual quest to destroy New England style IPAs. I don't think they should be called India Pale Ales personally, but I am not fixated on that. Okay, in Louisiana, they used to have these bitter IPAs, and then all of a sudden the company out there in Western Louisiana decided, well, there's more money in the sweet sugary stuff, so everything got flipped to sweet sugary stuff. Well, that's fine. That's wonderful. But I'm not going to drink it, and I'm not going to champion it, and I'm not going to brag on it, and I don't care if everybody in the world rated it 1,000 out of 1,000. I'm not obligated to praise something that I don't think is that good. No one is obligated to agree with me. No one is obligated to praise my videos. No one is obligated to say you did a good job, or to put a thumbs up, or to subscribe. No one's obligated to watch. Some people tell me, I hate your videos, and they watch them every day. Well, okay, but I'm not making you watch. You don't. I know I came at you like an affliction, but I'm leaving you like an addiction. I understand that. But anyway, so enough rant and rave, although I think my rant is valid. And I've offered, the offer has never been retracted or rescinded. And it's a standing offer that you can come on here live with me and we can talk about it. But I've not seen that occur. Haven't seen it happen, but I'm here. Here I am. Okay. All right. So no, I'm not a champion for the cheap stuff, but, and this is a very important but, and I'm sorry if people get their feelings hurt. If, let's say, something is cheap, inexpensive, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it rot gut. They'll say, oh, Lord, early times is rot gut. Okay. I guess if you drink a bottle every day, you will have rot gut. Although I'm not a champion for it, I'm also not going to get on here and try to position myself and say bad things about it to build like what people would call street credibility. I've said this before. If I drink 100 cheap beers in the next 3 months and they're all good, I'm going to say they're good. And if they all score a B+, I'm going to score it a B+. People have told me before, well, yeah, score everything a B+. Okay, well, that's a coincidence. It's not a plan. It's not by design, okay? I'm not out here to, and I've had some people say, well, you're not well respected in the beer drinking community. Did I ever say I started this channel so that I could be well respected in the beer drinking community? When anywhere, find any video anywhere where I ever said my desire is to be well respected in the beer drinking community. If you find that video, I will send you money. And I said this to another fellow beer reviewer. I said, but that's another story, and I don't want to name him. I said, if you can find any video anywhere, mine or other people's, where I said ugly things to them, I will send you money, like literally money. I will send you money. But he said, I don't want to hear all this. He quit the discussion. He left the chat. I said, of course you're going to leave, because you know you're not going to get the money because you're not going to find the statements. But anyway, a staunch risk indicator said champion for what you value. Correct. I appreciate all your reviews, says Big B, your rants, and you taking the time to answer my emails. Yes, I like to do that. By the way, really off subject, but I've lost 7 pounds so far, taking your advice while not having to give up my beer. I'm not a dietitian and I cannot give professional advice, obviously. But I'm telling you the diet that worked for me. I lost 30 pounds because I started my own diet. I invented it. Was it based on science? No. It just seemed to be based on sense. Eat less and exercise more. Now, that was a simple concept. Eat less, comma, and exercise more. Well, did I change the food I ate? No. Now, I don't drink soft drinks anymore, but that was after I lost the 30 pounds, honestly. I started eating less food and I started exercising more. Well, guess what? I lost 30 pounds. Now that seemed very simple. I respect you and find all videos helpful and fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. But like I've told other people, no one is obligated to respect the videos. You can hate them. I mean, obviously it's YouTube. It's on the air. It's broadcast through the internet. Well, you could watch them and hate them if you like. I don't know what to say. Keep on keeping on, sir. You are doing good, says BLF 450. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, all right, let's end this. So I failed today. Well, that's the risk you take. If you go on live and you get them mixed up and you fail, that's just too bad for you. Oh, well, tough luck. Now, you notice I don't edit my videos. There's no jump cuts. I could just delete it, right? I could say, well, not too many people noticed anyway. It was only 8 viewers. I'll just delete it. And then when everybody else checks on in my channel later on, they won't even notice it. It'd be as though it never happened. But I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't. I've done that in the past where I reviewed beer that was horrendous, tastes like spinach, but I didn't post it because I felt bad for the lady that sent it to me. But later on I felt guilty about it. I said that was wrong because it shouldn't matter if they sent it. That's not my problem. It's not my problem that they make garbage beer. I mean, but I felt like that the lady was under heat some kind of way. Like, I don't know. I felt like the company was on her case, like for her career, her job. But I felt terrible. I said, well, she was only their contact person. Why would she be catching heat? Right? For the beer being bad. But it was some statement she made like they were on her case. So I said, no, that's like crazy. But I don't usually give that company's beers very good scores because they're not very good. I'm not going to name the company, but if you watch carefully, you'll notice what I'm talking about. Wait, you failed? Is this a first for me? They are too similar. I failed many times on these taste challenges. If you go look at all of them, were they too similar? I don't know, but I thought the early times was the redemption, and I thought the redemption was the early times. So apparently they were too similar, or I was too weak in what's the word? I was not good enough at taste challenging. I mean, I'm only me. I can only answer for me. Now you might start a video channel where you get them all right every time. I don't know. But this only applies to me personally. So in my personal experience with these two whiskeys, I got them mixed up, which in my personal experience is telling me personally that I would never dream of buying the Redemption High Rye if I can't tell it apart from the early times, which is only $8.99 now. So that's, I don't know what else to say about that. Jeeping Foodie says, good morning, Jay. Good morning, Jeeping Foodie. Well, I'm going to shut this down because I got to start cleaning the house. I got a mop. My friend David, he said, man, I noticed you keep your house really neat and clean. I said, yeah, I can't stand any kind of clutter or, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I got the comic book boxes, but they are kind of like in line, right? But like I dust it, I clean the, I clean and mop, and it's on a pattern so I don't ever fall behind on it. Then I got to go to Walmart and buy some salad and some, actually some eggs. I haven't eaten eggs in a while. So, all right. Well, anyway, I'm sure people didn't tune in to find out what groceries I'm going to buy. I'm sure that doesn't matter at all. All right. So I'm going to start uploading a beer review, and that's going to cause controversy, I believe, because it's a macro. Oh, Lord, a macro. You mean, yeah, and it's made by Anheuser-Busch, right? Like you're the vampire to the crucifix. What did I say? David, with the big beard, me and David, we're going to do regular beers. He's the one that agreed. He said, let's do regular beers so people won't think we're beer snobs. I said, okay. No chicken eggs. So we did a regular malt liquor. And right there, that gets people angry. Just for me, they get angry just because the video exists. They're angry. And they want to hurt, their attitude is, I want to do physical harm to you because you drink a malt liquor. I don't ever understand that concept that you want to hurt somebody because they drank a product you don't like. I don't get that. But anyway, oh well. Oh well. Looks like a clear, sunny day, although it's going to be cold, around 53 degrees. So, but, hey, well, that's the way that goes. It is winter time after all. Thanks for watching this video production.